Welcome to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today, we're delving into a concept that's crucial for understanding the complexities of public policy and economic interventions: government failure. Government failure, also known as non-market failure, occurs when government intervention in the economy leads to a less efficient allocation of goods and resources than would occur without that intervention. This concept emerged as a counterpoint to the idea of market failure, which had been used to justify government intervention in the economy. The term gained prominence in the 1970s and 1980s, with economists like Charles Wolfe Jr. and William Niskanen contributing significantly to its development. It's rooted in public choice theory, which applies economic analysis to political decision-making. Government failure is like the public sector equivalent of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Even well-meaning policies can sometimes lead to unintended negative consequences. Let's look at an example to better understand this concept. Consider rent control policies, which are often implemented with the intention of making housing more affordable. While the immediate effect might be lower rents for some tenants, the long-term consequences can include reduced investment in housing, deterioration of existing rental properties, and even housing shortages. The policy intended to help renters might end up harming them in the long run. It's like trying to dam a river without considering how it might flood other areas or dry up downstream. In the world of public policy and economics, understanding government failure is crucial for crafting effective interventions and regulations. It reminds policymakers and citizens alike that government action isn't always the solution and can sometimes exacerbate problems. This concept has influenced deregulation efforts in various industries and has led to more rigorous cost-benefit analyses of proposed government programs. It's like adding a proceed with caution sign to the toolkit of public policy, reminding us to carefully consider the potential downsides of government action. So how can we apply the concept of government failure in our daily lives? Firstly, as citizens and voters, we can use this model to critically evaluate proposed policies and government programs. Instead of just considering the intended benefits, we should also think about potential unintended consequences and whether the government is the best entity to address a particular issue. It's like being a detective, looking beyond the obvious and considering all possible outcomes. Secondly, in our professional lives, especially if we work in fields that interact with government regulations or public policy, we can use this concept to anticipate potential challenges and inefficiencies. This can help us navigate regulatory environments more effectively and even contribute to better policy design. It's like having a map of the potential pitfalls in the landscape of public intervention. Lastly, we can apply this thinking to our personal decision-making, particularly when we're in leadership roles. The concept of government failure reminds us that even well-intentioned interventions in complex systems can have unexpected negative effects. Whether we're managing a team at work or leading a community organization, we should be mindful of how our actions might create unintended consequences. It's like playing chess, where we need to think several moves ahead and consider how each action might change the entire board. In conclusion, understanding government failure provides us with a more nuanced view of the role of government in society and the economy. It reminds us that while government intervention can sometimes solve problems, it can also create new ones or exacerbate existing issues. By being aware of the potential for government failure, we can be more thoughtful citizens, more effective professionals, and better decision-makers in our own spheres of influence. In a world where the call for government action is often the first response to societal problems, the concept of government failure is like a valuable counterweight, encouraging us to carefully consider all options and potential outcomes. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. Until next time, may your analysis of policies be thorough, your consideration of consequences comprehensive, and your understanding of complex systems ever expanding. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by the podcasthost.com and Alitu, the podcast maker. Find your own free podcast music over at thepodcasthost.com/free music.